Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome back to a special Genshin video. Today we're going to be seeing who is the best physical DPS between our boy Razor, Kaeya, Rosaria, Eula, and Keqing. So for this I did the mathematically best sets for Razor, Physical Keqing, and Eula, so it's going to be a triple whammy for you guys. As always, these calculations were done with all the characters being at level 90, Constellation 0, and talents at level 6. The weapons are also level 90, all refinement 1, and the artifacts have no substats. The link to all of these spreadsheets will be in the video description in case you guys want to go take a closer look. Oh, and by the way, since we're testing physical DPS, super contact is in effect at all times during these calculations. Let's start with my boy Razor. For Razor, I tested two different combos, one using his 4th normal attack inside of his ult, and one that just ends up on his 3rd auto. And always using his E off cooldown, so that way you can maintain your super at all times. With the first combo, you can get off 1 hold E before you ult, and then 3 regular tap E's, and 7 normal 3 combos, finishing off with 1 normal 2 combo. For the normal full combo, you just hold E, ult, tap E off cooldown 3 times, and you also get 5 normal 4 attack combos. Out of these, the normal attack 3 combo dealt more damage overall, but it also consumes more stamina, and the normal 4 combo deals more damage in a shorter amount of time, and it can also stagger large enemies like Fatui and Axilla Trolls and even Child, so both combos are useful. It is up to you to learn by experience which one you should use in different scenarios, but either way, both of these combos last until his ult ends, which ends up being a total of about 16 seconds. But for these tests, I'm just going to be using the normal attack 3 combo for our calculations. The sets I tested were 4-piece Pale Flame, 4-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Pale Flame and 2-piece Bloodstains, and 2-piece Pale Flame and 2-piece Glad. Out of all of these, the build with the highest damage output by far was 4-piece Pale Flame, and that's to no one's surprise. Something great about Razor is that he can actually keep 100% uptime on the 4-piece passive if you just keep using your tap E. And if you follow this combo where you do hold E into ult into tap E, you instantly get both stacks of the 4-piece passive, and you keep it up for the entirety of your ult. The weapons that actually performed the best on Razor were Songs of Broken Pines and Wolf's Gravestone. Gravestone actually did a decent amount more damage than Broken Pines, but only when it has its passive up, which requires you to hit a low HP target, while Broken Pines passive is super easy to keep up with Razor. The Unforged is also a super good option if you have it, and you can run Diona for both proccing super conduct and giving you the shield needed for the stacks. Zhongli is obviously really good here too. But Diona also unlocks Dragon Strike Razor, so that's something you could consider. As for 4-star options, the Serpent Spine is the winner by a long shot, and for free-to-play, the Snow Tomb Star Silver is the way to go. The damage might look close in these tests, but that's because of the proc of the Icicles is taking into account, and that only does max damage versus cryo-afflicted targets, and Razor applies Electro pretty fast, so this is probably never really going to happen, but it's still a good weapon if you don't have the Spine or any 5 stars. Now let's go over Kaeya really quickly because I already did a whole ass video about Kaeya, so if you guys are interested in that, you can go ahead and click the top right corner to go and watch that video. But back when I did that video, the Pale Flame set did not exist yet, so I'm just going to be covering that set on him with a couple of different weapons. For his rotation, we're going to do the same rotation that we did for that video, which is E into ult into 3 normal into charge attack cancels, followed by a normal attack cancelled into an E, and then 2 more normal charge attack combos. Kaeya's E has a 6-second cooldown, so it is tight, but you can keep up the 4-piece Pale Flame passive at all times with him. With this build, the highest damaging option is the Skyward Blade, and that's because of the passive. I explained this in way more detail in that video, but basically, Skyward actually gives you like a Crescent Pike style proc on every auto attack after you ult for 12 seconds, and each of Kaeya's charge attacks gives him 3 instances of damage, which all actually proc this Crescent style instant, which skyrockets your damage. Without taking the procs into account though, the Primordial Jade Cutter is the highest damaging 5-star options, and for 4 stars, the Black Cliff at max stacks is the best option, and if you're free to play, the Prototype Rancor is basically your only option, and it's actually better than the Black Sword. So, moving on. Now again, I've already made a video about Rosaria very recently, so I'm gonna again leave a link to that in the top right if you guys haven't seen that yet, so I'm gonna be very brief here. If you guys want an in-depth breakdown of the mathematically best ways to play and build Rosaria, then go ahead and check out that video. But anyway, Rosaria's best physical damage build was Pale Flame 4-piece with the Crescent Pike. Do not bother with any 5 stars. This thing does almost 61% more damage than Staff of Homa, so don't mess with anything else, just use 4-piece Pale Flame and Crescent Pike on Rose. Now let's quickly move on to Keqing, and again, I've already made a mathematically best build video for Keqing, but this is actually a while ago, so if you guys have haven't seen that, then I recommend you go ahead and check it out. But back then, 4-piece Pale Flame did not exist, so I just made a table for her for this comparison, just using that artifact set and comparing it to the one that we had before. And a cool thing about Keqing is you can actually get both stacks of the Pale Flame set bonus with one E, since it does 2 instances of damage, as you can see here. Anyway, I also tested 2 different combos for Keqing, one spamming charge attacks and a more stamina friendly combo using her 4 normal string and cancelling it into a charge attack. This combo lasts about 7.5 to 8 seconds. Both of these combos actually did pretty similar damage, however the charge attack spam combo did a bit more for the exception of the Skyward Blade. Due to its passive, the normal 4 combo gets more total damage since it has more attacks to proc the passive off of. But in both cases, that actually ended up being the highest damage physical Keqing build. Skyward Blade also gives you more attack speed, something I did not account for in this DPS calculation, so you might be able to get off 1 extra auto attack and therefore 1 extra proc. But without any procs though, the Primordial Jade Cutter once again is the strongest, most consistent option. And then for 4 stars, I would recommend the Blackcliff Sword, and for free to play, well, again, the only option you have really is the Rancor. I know it seems like a pattern, but we're testing very similar stuff here, so expect very similar results. Now finally, we are moving on to Eula, and for this I only tested 1 combo, but it's the most consistent one you can do for Eula, and it gives you about 14 stacks for your ulti. And that's E, then ult, then doing a normal attack 4 combo, then holding E, and then another normal attack 4 combo, and the ult pops. Now when you hold Eula's E, she actually shreds the cryo and physical resist of the enemies that you hit. So the way that this was calculated was by applying the resistance shred on everything in her kit after her hold E, which is why you see so many different values up here. I tested this on 4-piece Pale Flame, 2-piece Pale Flame, 2-piece Bloodstained, as well as 2-piece Pale and 2-piece Glad. Out of all of these, the Gravestone with 4-piece Pale Flame ended up being on top by quite the margin, but it's in the same situation as Razor, where Gravestone requires the proc to do all this damage, which isn't always feasible or realistic, like in certain bosses and things like that. And Broken Pines is less damage, but it has much higher uptime in more applicable scenarios. So they're basically equal. For 4 stars, Serpent Spine is your best bet, and the Star Silver is your best free-to-play option. So now that we have the best builds for all characters, which one is actually the best? Well, if we take Razor's best, which totaled out to about 212,000 damage across nearly 16 seconds, that gives you a total of about 13,200 DPS. For Kaeya, his combo did a total of 131,000 damage over 10 seconds, which also ends up being about 13,000 DPS, just slightly under Razor. For Rosaria, her total damage came to a total of almost 236,000 over 12 seconds, which gives her a total of about 18,000 DPS. For Keqing, her total combo dealt a total of 170,000 damage over 8 seconds, which gives her a total of 21,270 DPS, which is quite high. And as for Eula, her total combo damage was 249,000, almost 250,000 damage over 10.5 seconds, which gives her a DPS of 23.8 thousand. Looking at these results, it made me pretty sad, to be honest. Razor and Kaeya are my boys. Razor is my main DPS on my EU free-to-play account, and he was my first main on my own account since like AR20 or something, and I remember talking him up to all my other friends who were starting off after I did. But he is a 4-star, so he is kind of limited, and he is a selfish character. Kaeya sadly does not have the attack speed to keep up with Keqing, so she ends up besting him in total damage and in DPS. And even though Keqing has a lower damage output than Razor, she deals like 80% of Razor's total combo damage in literally half the time, which is insane burst. And she fits super easily into a quick swap team. Eula doesn't really fit into a team very well. She's selfish as well. You have to stay on the field with her once you ult, and her ult just does so much damage that it is kind of justified. She's also cryo, so she fits into a double cryo team for the crit rate buff resonance pretty easily. And she also has crit damage as an ascension stat, which makes her pretty easy to build, same thing as Keqing. However, her ult is a lot harder to get than Razor's, who can basically stay in his ult 100% of the time. One of the benefits of Razor as well is his tankiness. He gets like 80% electro resistance, and he staggers enemies so much that basically nothing can touch you if you are within melee range. And he basically has no hard counters since he does a good mix of electro and physical damage. But so does Rosaria, and she also fits into a lot more team comps a whole lot easier, and she can do way more damage than the other 4 stars, mainly because she can just use Crescent Pike, which is absolutely broken. And Kaeya is much better as a cryo carry anyway. So if you're looking for a good physical main DPS, Eula is the best available option as of right now, and Rosaria is your best 4-star option. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It took a lot of effort to make, so if you did enjoy it, then please leave a like and let me know what you guys would like to see next, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.